Imogene Trammel-Fugate.
And when did you go to Swift?
I went
Did you go to
I
high
went
school?
to high school and finished in college. I was a part of the last class at Swift
Mm-hmm.
College. It was 1955. I had 2 years of I really enjoyed my 2 years of college. It was a fun time, and we had several guys from out of town that
We had fun with it.
that was in our class, and so we had a lot of fun. It was really good, and then of course I had several members of my family had been to Swift before I came along, and one sister that was there, and it was really enjoyable, and it was kind of a foundation for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I can look at the schools, the high schools and all that I have attended, their graduations and all is so different than what we went through, because now they can wear any kind of shoes, flip-flops or anything.
Mm-hmm.
We had to wear, the women, ladies had to wear pumps, and the
Stop.
men had to wear shoes, nice shiny shoes, you know.
And shirt and tie.
Shirt and tie. Now they come in the way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I just recently went to my granddaughter's graduation, and just to see the difference in the way they acted at the graduation and everything, and thinking back the way we did at Swift,
Mm-hmm.
it makes you very thankful.
Mm-hmm.
And the respect that we knew to give people, especially elderly people and all. I mean, it's just so different now than it was back when we were at Swift. So as the years go by and more you hear about Swift, it makes you very thankful to have been a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure does.
So you consider being at Swift to have been a privilege, like
Really,
like you were lucky to have that
really.
experience.
And then having the experience of 2 years of college right at your hometown,
Mm.
that was a blessing.
Yeah. Now I've heard stories about people had mentioned a couple of times about people coming back from service. So people would go to military service and then come to school, or
Mm-hmm.
leave school to go to service and then come back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they just came back in and fit in
Mm.
because they were on the football team and basketball team, and they just came back like heroes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we were concerned, I mean the girls, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we just kind of looked up
Yeah,
to.
we got it.
Yeah.
I just wish that they hadn't have been, I wish they hadn't, it would be so nice if it was still there. Because I would like for my children to have had the same experience that I had, going to Swift and being a part of it.
And then too, you think that if it had stayed, that eventually it would have been a 4-year college. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard so many white people that are in the community, they're sorry now that
They tore it
they
down.
took it down,
Mm-hmm.
because it would have been help for both races. I know a lady that I exercise with, she and her husband, when she came to the museum and saw the mural on the wall, is that what you call it? On the wall of the picture of the school, she had tears in her eyes. was, because she said, oh, because she remembered it, because she grew up in Rogersville and then moved away, but recently she has come back. And she saw that, and it just overwhelmed her.
It would have been an asset to Rogersville for it to have stayed, because I think it would have continued to grow. And then you would have had more people coming in, and it would have gotten big.
I understand that you been to Rogersville a lot. Did you remember the school when it was there? Or
I don't
were you too
remember.
small?
I don't remember it. When did they tear it down? Do you know?
It was in 60. It closed in 63
Mm-hmm.
because my sister went there. I think she graduated in 63 from the high school.
Mm-hmm.
They must have tore it down right after that.
Pretty much.
But you have so many people that just don't take interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there at Nelson Mary, are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just sitting there. Nobody is doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was so strange. I used to teach at a little school down in, well, it was considered as Sevier County, but it was sort of right at the point. And it was a little one-room school. And they went in there, I don't know when or what. That school is gone. I mean, there's nothing there but just land. Just tore it down. And you know, they should have kept it, because one-room schools you don't see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really go down in history. And especially with that one, because before I started there, they were having trouble with a little white girl that they wanted to attend.
Mm-hmm.
And she eventually came and started going to school there.
Mm-hmm.
That was sort of at the beginning of integration. So, but when I went down in there, I saw it gone, and I couldn't believe it.
We lived out, and we were,
Bussed in.
we were bussed in. Before we were bussed in, we were cabbed. They sent a cab out to bring us into town.
Mm-hmm. Now, what community did you stay in out?
It's part of Hawkins County, but it's out. Anyway, when we were in grade school, we were between Rogersville and Sagarnsville.
Okay, like Church Hill.
So we could have gone to Sagarnsville, or we could have went to Hawkins County. But by the time we were little, we had older brothers that were already in Hawkins County, and they were driving to there. So we all, the younger ones, all went to Price Public, so we didn't have to go to Sagarnsville.
Oh, okay. Now, where did you grow up at?
Dandridge.
Dandridge, and then you went to school from Dandridge. Yeah.
Because, well, my mother and father went there. And uncles and cousins and just about everybody that started out in college went up there. So that's how, when time come for me, they shipped me up there.
And you stayed? You stayed on
I
campus?
stayed on campus.
Okay. Mm.
Like if you were dating, and on Sunday was the only time that you could have a date to come to see you, and we had to go in the chapel, and we would have, the teachers would have to sit out in the hall, and you know how chapels was, like church benches, and you'd have your little friend on the church bench, and that would be the only way you could talk to him. I mean, you know, you better not try to kiss or nothing, because if you did, they would call you out. I remember that. And you couldn't come down until they called you. you know, you couldn't be lolling around in the hall. So they would call, like, Mary Faye, and you would go, and there would be your date down at the foot of the steps, and you'd go in the chapel. And about 30 minutes you might sit in there and talk to her. So that was on Sunday. So I had some good times there, real good times. But it was like a family, though. Very strict, which makes you appreciate things down through life for being as strict as it was. Although we had some that was a little on the wild side, but most of them were followed orders. So it was just a good atmosphere. And see, like in Rogersville, some of the people that lived there probably would have never gone to college if the school hadn't been there, because they wouldn't have, you know, ventured out anywhere else. But by being, you know, there and them being local, and at that time, tuition wasn't that high, then, you know, you could go very easily. And plus the fact, I'm sure that the county, you know, paid something for them to come. So it has helped a whole lot of people.
Sure has.